Do you want to be on more social media platforms so you can get more audience, more visibility, and overall attract a larger audience overall, so you have more opportunities to convert those leads into paid customers? In this video, I'm going to share with you how to use one piece of content so you can distribute it into multiple different platforms. So stick all the way through the end for the entire map. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jelena Ostrovska from JelenaOstrovska.com, and I create organic social media content that converts for six-figure female coaches, consultants, and service providers. And in this video, we are going to be talking about how you can repurpose your content like a boss. So let's get right into the content. So first of all, I do want to mention that you don't have to be creating content for every single platform. So what I'm about to share with you, it is a slightly more advanced strategy, but I do want to share with you what's possible for you to create without having to come up with fresh content ideas. So because a lot of the times people, specifically coaches think, oh my gosh, like I have to be on all platforms, I have to come up with so much content. That is not true. And I used to be the kind of person that I would share different content on every platform. I would share one thing on LinkedIn, the other on Twitter, and something completely different on Instagram and Facebook, and then I would get burnt out, because that's generally what you get. Because here's the deal, we all look at Gary Vaynerchuk, right? So Gary V is able to create all the content. He's probably the most, one of the most consistent content creators, and he's also the most omnipresent. I feel like he does even a better job than Grant Cardone, who is also everywhere. But you have to remember one thing. Both of these guys, they have large teams. I believe Gary Vaynerchuk, from what I heard, he has about 40 content creators on his team or something crazy like that. Like, I know he posts 5, 6, 7 times a day on Instagram, and it's crazy, right? So now I will share with you everything you possibly need right now and how to repurpose your content without having a large team. So even for just one platform, you don't have to be creating fresh content every single day. Eventually, after probably a year or maybe 2 years, you're going to exhaust all the possible ideas that you could have created. Because, yes, there's always a lot of things to talk about, but the core topics, they're going to be the same. So, and everybody comes to that point to where they're like, I don't even know what to create anymore. I feel like I've talked about everything. And then you get to that point where you're stuck and you're not sure, what the heck to talk about, right? So let's start with the system. So the very first piece of content that I always recommend to start with is start with a video. Right? So a video just like this. So this is a YouTube video. Obviously, you're watching this on YouTube. You might be seeing pieces of this video floating around on Pinterest and Instagram, maybe TikTok. So you start with a video because here are all the things that you can do with the video. You can take the actual video footage. You can repurpose it into something else. You can cut out the pieces, make it a shorter version, and recreate it, right? That's one way. You can strip the audio from the video. You can get the audio file and use it however the heck you want, right? You can upload it to a podcast, and we'll talk more about that here in just a second. And then the other thing that you can do with a video is you can send it to a tool like ref.com or temi.com or any of the, there's so many different content creation tools these days, and you can take the transcript out of that video and reuse that however the heck you want. And let me share with you in details what you can do next with that video. Alright, so you have the video. That is step number 1. Step number 2 is you get the transcription, like I mentioned, out of this video, and here are all the things that you can do with that transcription. So you can send it, like I said, to Rev or Temi. You get the whole text out of it, and then you can turn it into a blog post. Because again, sending traffic to YouTube is one thing, but people get easily distracted on YouTube. Besides your video, they see a million other videos and different ads and everything under the sun. When you send people to your own website, they just see everything that belongs to you. So if they get distracted by something, it is your link and you're in control of that, right? So you can use a tool like Jarvis. So I'm going to leave an affiliate link for you down below that you can use to repurpose your content to have Jarvis. It's basically an AI software that writes content for you. You can just start writing the text and it's going to complete everything for you, and it's going to save you a lot of time. So this is one thing that you can do. This is just one way to repurpose the video. So let me get to the step number 2, or it's actually step number 3 right now. So the other thing that you can do is you can take the snippet out of that YouTube video and publish it on Instagram video, formerly known as IGTV. Now it's just Instagram video. You can take a 60-second clip and publish it as a separate video. And what you can do there is you can put a clickable link that's going to go either to your blog post or to your YouTube channel, and people can watch the full video. So you're basically using that as a teaser, kind of like what people do with movies, right? So you have a minute and a half that people watch, and then in order for them to enjoy the whole show, the whole movie, they have to click the link and actually attend your channel or attend your website. Okay, what kind of software can you be using for that kind of editing? So you can use InShot, and I actually did a video right here on the full tutorial on how to use InShot and everything you can do with it. For mobile, honestly, it's the easiest. There are also different tools like Veed.io. So you're gonna use that, and they're basically going to create one of those like meme videos where you have the headline at the top and then you have the captions at the bottom, so you can make one of those. And then the other thing besides the longer video, what you can do is you can either edit that same YouTube video and republish it as an Instagram reel, just take the shorter pieces. Or if you have a YouTube, that YouTube video script, which I generally keep all of my scripts inside of ClickUp, and, I literally have it in front of me right now as I'm recording this. So what you can do is, if it's like a listicle kind of video to where you have a list of, several things that you share. So what you can do is you can find a trending sound on Instagram Reel or TikTok. You record it using, that trending sound. You don't even have to say anything. And then you literally use the same points from that YouTube video. You don't even have to come up with anything new. You're just giving that content a fresh idea, a fresh spin. And I bet it's going to perform just as good again. The same idea, the same script, the same tips, the same points, the same promotion, but it's going to be packaged in a different way. You know how, makeup brands or like e-commerce in general, they're doing that really well. So I'm going to give an example of Fenty Beauty, owned by Rihanna. So what she does really well, and I love to see that every single year, especially before Black Friday, she has, all her makeup that she sells, standalone. So I have like one of these things like right here. So this is like the highlighter. That kind of looks like this, as you can see. And what she does, so she does sell it separately for like $36, I believe, or something like that, plus tax. And then she takes that same thing and she packages it with, I don't think I have it right here, but she packages it with like a lip gloss or a lipstick. And this is not fancy, this is something else. So she repackages one product with the other, and you basically do kind of the same thing in your content strategy. You take the idea, you may take the same outfit and you package it into a different platform. So that's really how repurposing works. Number 5, you can look over the transcript of that video and see what really stands out to you, right? And take that as a quote, and you can quote yourself, right? So you take what you said in the video, if it's like a truth bomb kind of moment, if it's something that's like, dang, I could have said that on stage and people would clap a lot to me, kind of thing. So you turn it into a quote. You can do the same thing for Twitter, which is number 7, right? So you put it up as a tweet, as a quote. What you can do as well on Twitter is you can go ahead and screenshot that particular tweet. I always do that from my phone. Then I, crop it, and then I publish it on Instagram as a separate post. I put it like on a pretty background so it stands out, or like a regular white background. Those posts always perform the best. So this is another thing that you can do. You just take pieces out of that video and, think about it. If it's a 15-minute video, I bet you can take at least 3 things out of it, right? So definitely do that. Here's another thing that you can do. So I believe this is number 7. The previous was number 6. So you can go on Twitter, and there's one thing that Twitter gurus are doing is they are publishing threads to where you basically create a tweet with like a headline, and then you share the steps underneath that same tweet. So what you can do is you can take that YouTube script that you have just used, you put it up as a thread on Twitter, and then you screenshot each of them, and then you go to Canva and you put them on a Canva graphic that you can reuse for Instagram. So basically there goes a carousel using the same outline you had in the video, using like Twitter screenshots that you don't even have to make like anything crazy or outrageously pretty using Canva. And that's really what you can do. So you repurpose that and you have the carousel right there. Now, the next thing is slightly more advanced, and not everybody's going to want to do that, but every single time you have a YouTube video, so let's say you take it into a blog post, so you can create 5 separate pins for Pinterest, and you like different graphics, different colors, different spin on it, all promote the same YouTube video, and you can create another 5, something similar but slightly different, because Pinterest is going to treat them differently, and you create the same 5 for your website. And I would say test it out. Like usually, I know people who have driven traffic to their YouTube videos like that, but I also know people that have used it heavily for blogs. But again, if you don't have the energy to run a blog right now and you just have the energy for a YouTube video, at least send the traffic to the YouTube videos. Now, step number 10, if you have a podcast and you do create a lot of content, and maybe you have, 48 hours in a day, what you can do is, like I mentioned earlier, you take the audio out of the video and you can edit it, because obviously, I say things in my YouTube videos like subscribe and, hit the like button and hit the bell sign. I cannot say those kind of things inside of a podcast because it wouldn't make sense. So, and you can trim those kind of things out of the video, out of the audio, and add the introduction, add your outro. If you have a podcasting team, they can certainly do that for you. And you repurpose that same YouTube video as a podcast episode. And here's the thing, if you think, oh my gosh, like my audience wouldn't listen to that, you won't believe, but people actually will, because YouTube has one audience and podcast has a completely different audience. So a lot of the times, the content that was not received well on YouTube is actually going to be received incredibly well on a podcast. Number 11. So if you are already on Instagram, and you're not nurturing your audience, I don't know what you're doing. So what you can do, you take the same YouTube script, and you don't have to do it right away, right? You absolutely do not have to. You can spend, maybe a month after you publish the YouTube video, or 2 weeks after you publish it, to where people don't remember that you have talked about it, because people forget. Like, they're not going to remember every single piece of content that you had talked about. There are still things that, I mentioned some simple things to, my friends or business buddies, and I mentioned, and they're like, oh, I never thought about it that way. Like, I recently mentioned to somebody on a call that Pinterest is a search engine and not a social media platform. They were like, that is mind-blowing. And I was like, really? So, and I feel like I always say that, but in reality, you really don't. There's so much content that you mention that gets forgotten. So take that same YouTube script that you had talked about, 2 weeks ago, go live about it, share the same things, and there goes another piece of content, and you publish that as a 15-minute video on your Instagram video platform. Now, if you're publishing, let's say on Facebook or LinkedIn, and you kind of want to do like a longer form caption, you don't want to do a whole, Instagram carousel, you can take that same blog post, trim it down, make it a little bit shorter, make it more condensed to where it's not like all like your whole biography. Put it as a LinkedIn article, and put it also as a Facebook post, because on Facebook personal profiles, you really cannot publish carousels. It doesn't really make sense. And you can reuse that same post for a Facebook group. You can reuse that same post for LinkedIn. And to be completely honest with you, you can be publishing the same posts every few months. Like, if you go over to your Instagram content, if you go to your analytics from the past, let's say 180 days, I bet there's content that has been doing incredibly well, over 90 days ago, but not your whole audience saw it. The new audience that you currently have, let's say you've added 500 new people to your audience, they have not seen that content. So you can take it, maybe even change the colors of it in Canva, right? And republish it as the same content, maybe add some fresh perspectives, because you as a leader, as a coach, as a content creator, you evolve. So you take the old pieces of content, and I'm always gonna say this, like if you ever deleted content and you know the graphics from your Canva, I don't know why would you? I keep everything, like the entire history of Jelena Ostrovska is there. So I always can go back to it, I can search it, I can go back to it, and I can see how I can improve that piece of content and share it all over again. And trust me, you're gonna save so much content, it is insane. So, turn that YouTube video, that's transcript into an educational caption, post it on Facebook group, maybe in somebody else's Facebook groups as well, so you can network better. Post it on LinkedIn as a LinkedIn article. Heck, you can even go to places like Quora or Reddit or Medium.com, where you can publish articles or like even help people out using those kind of answers. And there you go. You don't have to be sitting and writing the same content every single time. You just keep it in your ClickUp, in your blog post, in your Airtable, whatever platform that you are using. And last but certainly not least, I'm sure there are more strategies, but I felt like let's keep it a little bit lower, like at how many we can share here, because I didn't want to keep this video at like 40 minutes. So last but not least is you can reshare every single thing that you're publishing on Instagram as a pin. So what you can do is you go over to your desktop on your computer. You can actually do this, the same thing on your mobile, is you have to copy the link of the post that you did on Instagram and you republish it on Pinterest. So you take the URL from Instagram post, you publish it on Pinterest, it's going to pre-populate. You want to make sure, like, I know this is going to be like some gibberish for you, but you want to make sure that you claim your Instagram through Pinterest. There are tutorials on YouTube on how to do that. I'm not going to talk about that right here. You basically just like confirm that you own your Instagram account, and that way you're going to be able to republish everything on Pinterest, optimize it for some keywords, and your Instagram content is going to get some visibility on Pinterest without you having to create anything new. So you take one piece of content and you reshare it on another platform. And that's how you can basically repurpose one YouTube video into multiple different platforms, not even once, but multiple times, and recreate the same content, reshare the same thing that is already working. Like, why reinvent the wheel? So I really hope this video was insightful and valuable. Let me know what was your biggest takeaway down below into the comment section. If you enjoyed this video and you want more videos like this, hit subscribe button, hit the like button down below, and hit the bell sign as well to get notified every single time I publish new video content, which is every single week. And before you leave, make sure to check out these two videos right here, all about social media and content marketing. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.